Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us here at the Artist Connection. We're so excited. We have an amazing lineup for you tonight. So, we're going to start off with just thanking you guys and letting you know that the Artist Connections is here to connect community, connect different artists, not just poetry, whatever you have. We want to talk about it. We want you to promote yourself, sell yourself and what you're doing. And then we always discuss what's your story. So we're going to start with introducing our first guest, and I'm going to pass the mic to Saint Ice. So Saint Ice, tell us about yourself, what you have going on in the poetry world. And I know that you do a lot of other things. You do some awesome art and drawing. So just tell us a little bit about that. And then
Okay.
bless her mouth.
Okay. Well, hello everyone. They call me Saint Ice, basically because I'm blessed and I'm cool, right? So if I go way, way, way back, I used to be a rapper. I mean, straight up on the mic, we're talking Sugar Hill. I'm a lot younger than I look, so we will keep that posted up. But the first professional thing I did, it was like back in '82. I was with a group called, get this, the Rappers Rap Group, because at the time, that's what the company thought was gonna sound all right. I was Mr. Ice back then, and then I started a spiritual journey. So we dismissed the Mister and we replaced it with Saint. So moving on, I am a writer. I have a book out right now that's called Love is So Cool, and it's a collection of poetry that deals with relationships, from the sitting down, let my grandfather school me, to my sister reminded me when I went on a darker path and I had to find redemption, to, me getting my heart broken and all that kind of good stuff. But it's the poems are written from a transparent male perspective, because we're not, from a society perspective, we're not often allowed or given the space to breathe where we could be emotionally and what we really feel. So that's the real cement of Love is So Cool. And outside of that, I do graphic design, I do book covers, I do logos, I do storyboarding. I actually have a series of graphic novels on the market. It's called The Faith Walker, where we took a Christian principle and turned it into a superhero motif. So instead of wearing tights and capes, he's rocking a robe and his eye glows in the middle of the night as he fights demons. So, just a lot of really cool stuff. I've done some modeling off and on. And in fact, I'm a model for this company right now called Shop Shades of Me. So I'll do a little sunglass thing every now and then. And I stay busy. I've done some hosting. I used to do a program called Creative to the Core. It was a live stream where I would be in a setting much like this. I'll be talking to the poet and the singer and the artist and the actor. So just really tapping into my creative spirit a long time ago, and not willing to relinquish it. So we ride it out. And I think that's all on the intro. So I'm Saint Ice, and it's a pleasure to meet all of you.
Thank you so much for that. Now bless our mic.
Oh, you want me to say a little something? Okay.
Yes.
I got a little piece. We always got something, right? I will do a portion of the title of Love is So Cool. And Miss Ailey, I believe this is the one you said you appreciated when I was a guest or a visitor down at CLI. So let's do this. I want to be in love. It's a wonderful thing. With a lifelong partner who truly loves me. Die hard romantic, more than roses and chocolate candies. You see, I'm not concerned with what another man is thinking of. I speak my love language, kisses and hugs. I needed to stick to my ribs. I needed biscuits and gravy kind of love. You see, it was said to me that everything that looks good to you ain't good for you. Watch how they do you, ignore you, or adore you. Then my grandpa said, boy, don't be no fool. I said, yeah, Pop, but love is so cool. I pray to locate the apple of my eye. I'm not interested in fantasies nor pie in the sky. I desire a chemistry intoxicating, a natural high. It might start with a 777 9311, but my door is open, so let's keep stepping. Come, let's take the stairway to heaven. You see, the substance of my dreams will manifest while seeking my queen. I need an internal beauty over an external bling. It was said to me that if you don't go for a thing, then more than likely you won't have a thing. Then Grandpa said, boy, don't you be no fool. I said, yeah, Pop, but love is so cool. So that's just a piece of Love is So Cool, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that piece.
Thank you. And so do I pass the mic? Is that how we do this?
No, no, the mic's back on me. Or if AJ have anything he want to elaborate on, the mic's on AJ.
I enjoyed it, brother. I enjoyed it. There goes Elu. Elu knows what's up. Um, that was a beautiful piece. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you.
Absolutely,
All
absolutely.
right.
I'm passing it back over to A. Lee.
Thank you so much for that. Next up to our mic is 1024. Tell us about yourself, what you got going on in the community, about the project that you're working on now, and then bless our mic. The mic's on you.
What's up? It's 1024. You already know. Like, that's my little hashtag slogan, whatever. Whenever you hear me introduce myself, it's going to be it's 1024. You already know. Because if you know me, I'm consistent. I stay the same. I grow, but I'm always me. Like, this is the me you're going to get. I'm a music artist. I sing, I rap. I'm sitting right now in my home Haven recording studio in downtown Los Angeles off of 6th Street in the Fashion District. Um, the project that I got working on, that I'm working on at this moment, I just finished an album called Broken Open. It's the name of my album, and Broken Open is about how the tough times in my life helped me mature and helped me grow. How pain was sent into my life, and I thought it was there to break me when it was really there to beautify me. And it's been a very, very tough journey of literally being able to be authentically myself in front of everybody without any hold back, without any concern about like how they're gonna perceive me, how they're gonna take me. And I really come from, I heard somebody mention this earlier, humble beginnings. Um, I don't come from a lot. I come from a single parent home. I went to 7 different elementary schools. I switched high schools 4 times. My brother got shot and killed 2 weeks before he turned 18. When I was young, I buried 5 of my closest friends before I ever turned 18 years old. I was a pallbearer at funerals multiple times. I have my own story of being in prison, locked up, being homeless, being like, I'm literally gonna make a movie out of this. Like somebody else told me, because I realized that the purpose of my life is that God can get glory out of my story, because when I get to where I'm going, the only way that they're going to be able to comprehend that I got there is because God was present. Like, that's the only thing that makes a difference, is that God has been present in my life. And so I'm not religious. I don't believe it's about religion, but I do believe it is about relationship. And so in everything that I do my best to allow people to see the God in me so it can reflect the God in them, and so that they can realize what power they are in possession of, so that they know that no matter what the situation is, that there's a power working within them that's able to do exceedingly, abundantly above all they could ever ask or think. And so right now, my music is really to empower people. My music is to like my story of Broken Open. Again, it's not broken down, it's broken open. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a butterfly coming out of the cocoon or a seed busting out of the shell to be able to break through the ground and give you the tree that provides oxygen for you. It's literally, I had to, in order for my gifts to be of any value to anybody else, they had to begin to be of value to me, and I had to actually recognize them as gifts. And so I'm really grateful for the opportunity to, one, be on the Artist Connection with so many other dope people, so many other phenomenal artists and poets and everything. It's like people on here are really multifaceted. To give them one label would be an insult to them, honestly. Like they're so like well-rounded in the things that they're able to do. I'm grateful to just be a part, honestly. I don't want to take up too much space, but if I was to give you something off of my latest album, it's a verse and a hook. It says, this experience is God dealing with gods. I'm odd beating the odds. No need for applause. The people appall. Who needs a cause if you're not the cause? I reach for invisible, met the non-physical. Reshape my mental. Found out I'm spirit. Learned I'm invincible. What don't make sense to you will all make sense to you after you experience it. Some highs and some lows. That's just a given. The proof of true love is when you don't place conditions. We all got free will, but Mach Tube says it was written. Time never was when man was not. Where's the start of the circle and where do you finish? Lean on yourself to defeat all the odds. The release in the soul and relief in the eyes. Dig deep and you'll realize your power. There's no better time than the present, so do it now. It's 10:24, you already know.
Thank you so much for that. That was such an inspirational story, and it takes a lot to share what you've been through. I just know that this platform is a safe space for everyone, and we just come here to share our truths. And I'm so happy you felt comfortable enough to do that with us all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Next up to bless our mic is the Egyptian princess. Tell us about yourself, what you have going on in your community, your books. I know I met you on Sunday. You were such a beautiful spirit. You came and you just gave me, just great compliment. And then we just start talking and connecting and talking about how beautiful your presentations was with your books and everything. So just tell us more about what you do and then bless our mic.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm just honored to be here among everyone. This is, it's always a blessing to bless each other as artists, and you've done that. And so thank you for that privilege. I'm truly just in such high spirits just to be here. So thank you. I would like to share that I too believe that God, is working through me and shining through me, and I give him the glory because I wouldn't be here today. I have two birthdays. When I was 7, I was hit by a car and it threw me 18 feet like a ball. And I broke both my legs, my right collarbone. I had fractured my head, double vision for a whole week. It was such an intense, tragic just blow that, yeah, pretty much 5 minutes unconscious, almost ready to meet my maker. But God was not done with me yet. And there was still purpose for me to be here. So I do have a leg shorter by 2.5 inches, but I still walk and I can dance, and I'm good with that. I'm not going to go skiing because I don't want everyone to have their chances of not being able to walk again. But yes, I'm blessed to be here. So April 19th is my second birthday, and every year I celebrate that day, and I celebrate just reaching that anniversary again, that I'm still here. So through that, I've been able to write poetry and express myself, and I've actually self-published 3 books. The first one's no longer in print. It was very humble beginnings through a high school. And the second one is called If My Body Was a Canvas of Words. And I believe that's the one that you got. It's If My Body is a Canvas of Words. And then my third book is Cairo Meets Queens. And If My Body Was a Canvas of Words is my biography through poems. And then the Cairo Meets Queens is an inspirational book that I hope the words can hug people just by what they read. I feel like we've just lost so much in the last few years with the pandemic, and we just need encouragement. We need love, and we need things to just inspire us. And that's my ultimate goal through my poetry. I have 53 poems in there and 40 posts that I wrote on Instagram. And there's artwork throughout the book. The cover is my own personal artwork in the back, and then my there's artwork throughout the book with the pieces as well. So I'm very excited about that book because when I was younger, I had that dream to put my poems with pictures, and I would do collages. I never imagined that I would actually draw and do my own artwork. So that's something that, you know, it's never too late. It's always, there's opportunities to create. And I think it's important that we tap into all our gifts and talents. And if I may, I just want to share a couple things that I do also paint seashells, and I do all kinds of, oops, I'll try to find the, yes, different kinds of seashells. And I put positive affirmations in them as well. And I know it's kind of a little hard to see, but I feel like it's important to have one of a kind gifts. And, you know, if someone has something that they want, I can create that for them as far as color schemes or designs. And then I have also my cards, my 4x6 and 5x7 cards, and there were with envelopes. And I'll just share just a couple designs. Hopefully you can see them. So I think this one is, no, wrong way. Still, there we go. So yeah, I do create different types of art, and this is one of my favorites. So yeah, and then everybody loves tacos. So yes, and this is my King Tut. I actually devote it directly. I call it King Ramses because my uncle's name was Ramses. So yes, so I have all kinds of designs. Just wanted to share a couple of those with you. And I also do paint and design journals as well. And you also blessed me by buying a couple of journals. So thank you for that. So if people are looking for something special, I can create something for them specifically. Just a few. Thank you. And I would like to share a piece that I actually wrote this last week. It was for a Fest Afrique that I was a part of. So it is titled We Are Royalty. Oh, before I do share it, I do want to add one last thing. So I'm a life coach, author, poet, artist, and I also help people with fundraisers if they want to do something for homeless or human trafficking or a specific thing that they're trying to raise funds for. I've put on showcases, and actually Pretty Black has blessed me and be part of one of my fundraisers. So thank you for that. She's a phenomenal artist that I know personally. And so that's, yes, those are my actual titles. And like you said, we're all very multifaceted. We are royalty. I come from pharaohs, Malik, which means king, Malika, which means queen. When my parents describe Cairo, Egypt, they tell me they wore crowns at their Coptic Orthodox wedding. I look at their black and white photos and see how they lived their lives. Fashionable, tailored, beautiful dresses with hand-sewn pearls and sharp, fine suits. My mother's hair was pressed at the salon every Friday for 5 cents. This, of course, would be in the 1940s through the 60s, before immigrating to America. My mother describes the precious time she spent with her mother baking and eating the finest buttery Egyptian kahk and petit four cookies. My grandmother Hayat, which means life, would make hundreds at a time for Christmas, which is January 7th, and Easter landing on different dates depending on the lunar calendar, to give away to family and friends. My mother grew up learning French and English because she attended private school with Catholic nuns. When she was 17, she went on a boat cruise on the Nile River. She would ride a camel holding her nephew with the pyramids behind her. She shook hands with the third president, Anwar el-Sadat. My mother worked for Egypt Airlines Company with a nice desk. My father learned Arabic and English in public school, and he was a Boy Scout and worked for the bank. My parents focused on teaching me the Egyptian language to make sure I understood where I came from, despite being born in New York. I'm thankful to speak it fluently and to know there's hope to learn the Spanish language fluently one day too, since there's 4,000 Arabic words in the Spanish language. I saw my parents work hard in America, transitioning from their lives that was good in their home country, at least when they were growing up. Reports over the years from family and friends telling them they had made the right decision to be here, to make a better life for my brother and eventually me. They just didn't see Egyptian Princess 8 coming. I arrived so late in their lives in America with a decision to almost abort me. However, my favorite older cousin who grew up alone didn't want the same for my 12-year-old brother. She was convinced to keep me. As I got older, it was hard to understand how sheltered and overly strict my parents were with me. Yet I'm thankful for the lessons, especially the richness in my mother's spirit and her family values shaping me today. Being a woman in my culture isn't easy. Judgments and never finding my voice except through writing poems from the age of 12 to release the things I didn't understand and to free myself to talk about the spiritual questions, romantic ideas, life struggles. I would be able to fully express myself more artistically, poetically through three self published books, canvases, drawings, photo collages, hand designed journals, prints of my work, and more after my parents became ancestors. I believe I'm royalty, and you are too. Look deep within your lineage and understand all you transcend from. Thank you so much.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing your history with us. Very rich. I love the storytelling.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next up to bless our mic is Tyler. I was telling you guys offline that Tyler has traveled the world, right? So just tell us a little bit about that and then bless our mic. She's such a beautiful spirit as well. Every time I encounter her, she's so nice and warm. You could just feel all the love when you walk into the room with her, and I really appreciate that. So, Tyler, tell us about yourself, about your book, about your traveling experience, and then bless our mic.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I was really honored to be asked and to be here with all you amazing people. Excuse me. My voice is a little out from the work week, but I like to call myself a motivational poet and a mental health warrior. You hear about motivational speakers, but I want to be a motivational poet. Um, Everything I do, I try to help people love themselves so they can love others. I have suffered from depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation pretty much all my life. And most people would never know that because I have a big smile and I come off as if I have everything together. But little do they know, I've had some dark days. And so that's a lot what my poetry is about, but I try to do it through affirmations. Some poetry I get really down to what things that happen to me, and other poems it's about affirmations for other people. But I'm releasing my first book. I just got published this year by Allegria Publishing. It's called Phasing Freely, and it's my mental health journey through the many phases of the moon. So the story is uh, December 7th, 2019, and I'm sorry, trigger warning, but I stood on the bridge with a purpose to end my life, to jump and end my life, and I almost did it, but the only thing that stopped me was the full moon, because growing up, I loved the moon. I love Sailor Moon. If anyone else is an anime nerd, yep. So the moon actually is what stopped me and had me and stopped me, and I saw the light, and I went back into my room. So my book, Phasing Freely, each phase of the moon is a different phase of my mental health journey, how I got to that moment and then how I healed after that. And that's why I wear the moon around my neck, because it's always with me and always with everyone on this call and who is listening as well. So that's my book coming out. But it was mentioned that I did travel the world. So a couple years ago, kind of after that episode I had, I was realizing that my life, in terms of working, I didn't have a life of joy. I was doing things that I thought I was supposed to do rather than things that brought me joy. So to get me back on that path, I quit my job, my full time 9 to 5, and sold all my things. And my boyfriend and I, we went on this 5 month international trip. We went to 12 countries in 5 months, and I just gave myself a chance to be and breathe. I performed all around the world, 6 different countries, 9 different times, and it was the most beautiful thing. I will tell you, the communities that are here in LA, the poetry communities that are here in LA, are also around the entire world. It was so similar. The love and the support was in every country I performed in. So one of the things I'm doing is my boyfriend and I, we're helping people. We're doing workshops, figure out how they can do trips like that themselves, or even a shorter trip or a longer trip. So if it's something you want to do for yourself and you feel like it's not possible, it is possible. It just takes time to make it happen for yourself. And we're trying to do that. Um, Other than that, I've been touring productions that combine dance and spoken word since probably for 10 years. I've toured a lot around. I'm from Michigan, around the Midwest. And me and a couple of my friends, we call ourselves the Infinite Poets. We produced a show at the Hollywood Fringe Festival last year. So I do a lot of that. I wrote my first song last year, which will be published along with my book. It's called it's called Luna My Love, which is based off of a poem called Be Like the Moon. That will be in my book. Um, Outside of that, I also am starting to produce the Voices of Color um, podcast, but it's more of an Instagram podcast for the Los Angeles Poets Society. So please hit me up if you want to be a part of that, because I want to bring really dope poets on there. But outside of all that, I work for the Walt Disney Company. That's my day job. I'm a creative producer for Disney Live Entertainment. It took me a decade. My first job at Disney was scrubbing in the parks and cleaning ketchup dispensers, and now I produce live performances for the theme parks around the world. So just saying that, so you can do anything that you want to do, because a lot of those things seem very out of reach. Those big companies, but they're not. You just gotta keep pushing, and that's what I did. So that's a little bit about me. I'm going to share a piece with you called I Am, and I'd like to tell a little story before it. So I had a very elder member of my family tell me that my boyfriend wasn't ever going to marry me because we were already living together, and they said to me that he's already had you. He's not going to want to be with you for any longer. And so instead of telling off this very elderly 90-year-old person, I decided to write a poem about it, and I say it's for anyone with a pussy. So whoever that is, this is for you. It's called I Am. I am not to be had, I am to be earned. My pussy isn't the end, it's just the beginning. And if you're lucky to enter, you better keep on giving. I am a good life decision, a long term plan, a down payment on a beach house right next to the sand, a Roth IRA, a 401k, a diamond from K, worth more each day like fine Chardonnay. And I hate to be cliche, but I'm like Beyonce. Even when I stumble, my Sasha Fierce will slay. Listen. I am not to be had, I am to be earned. My heart is a PhD. Better get your doctorate in how to cherish a celestial soul like me. In fact, I am your recommended daily dose of vitamin C, D, E, fresh off a fruit tree, pollinated by a bee, fuzzy, flying, and free. And any man would be lucky to get down on one knee for me. You see, I am not to be had, I am to be earned. My pussy isn't the end, it's just the beginning. And if you want my mind, you better keep on giving. Thank you so much.
Woo!
Thank you.
Tell him, Tyler.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for that story, that blessing our mic and telling your truth. I told you guys, just the burst of sunshine, right? So also, make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. We also, myself and Elu, Saint Ice, and possibly AJ will be there to connect with us. On July 29th, we're going to throw a jazz poetry artist festival. So you guys are all invited. Also, June 28th is my birthday and book release. So I'm going to send you guys out invitations to be there. It's going to be fabulous because I'm fancy, you know. So we got I will make sure I send everybody an invite. Next up to bless our mic. Every time I encounter Lourdes, she's always welcoming and so loving and everything. And I really don't like hugs, but you know, I hug her because I feel comfortable and warm with her. But she's always such a sweet, dope spirit to be around, and her poetry is fire. So up next to bless our mic is Lourdes, and she is also she's going to tell you the organization that she's with and everything. I don't want to say too much and let her introduce herself, and then just bless our mic. Tell us what you got going on in the poetry community. If you have any books coming out, any upcoming events, and then bless our mic.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. I also want to thank all of you for your beautiful storytelling and your backgrounds as well. I love this diversity and always meeting new community people and poets. I think it's super important for us to connect not only with just our poetry, but connect with each other as human beings, you know, because for a long time we were deprived of that. So this platform really gives us the opportunity to reinvent ourselves and to reconnect with each other, which I feel super grateful for. So thank you for that lovely introduction, Miss Drea. As she had mentioned, I am a community leader and organizer in the poetry collective called Open Heart Spoken Word. We are a transient grassroots collective, not just rooted in Orange County, but spread across the greater Los Angeles area as well. We put on and collaborate with everybody. So if you would like to connect further with us, please do. We are definitely about community and uniting each other and the diversity of our talents and our multifaceted, what we have to give to the world. Because we all have a gift. We all have these untold stories just waiting to be shared, you know. And I like to say that I am a writer first before a performer. I've only been performing for the last 10 months, which is how long Open Heart has been around. But my writing for me is a love letter to myself always, and to my family. That's where it's rooted first and foremost, just with heart and with hustle. I talk about everything from the importance of, immigration. I talk about love and passion. I also talk about police brutality and social injustice, addiction, sobriety. These are all things that I have in my first debut poetry collection called Revolutions, set to release at the end of this year, December 2023. June events that I have upcoming. It is this event on June 21st called Summer Solstice, hosted and curated by Simone Dill, who hails from CLI, I believe, in World Stage Press. She's a lovely poet as well. So I'll be featuring alongside her, I believe I'll also be featuring with Miss Kamiko White. And Miss Kaylee as well. And then on June 24th, I have this Philippine X feature, a goodbye party with a singer-songstress called Lottie. So that's super exciting. And then a feature at the end of the month with Karima Sphere at Black House. So those are all events coming up. In August, I am working on creating an initiative called Liberation of Literature Movement. There was this news that came out about the banning of Amanda Gorman's poetry book because one parent had decided that it was too taboo and it was too provocative, right? And but the thing about banned books is that they are the most necessary in celebrating our culture and our history as a people. And typically banned books are the most powerful and the most moving and significantly important in teaching the next generation of kids. So that is the idea of liberation of literature. Some of my background in my career, I was an elementary school teacher. So the importance of this initiative would be to unite not just poetry, but literature that celebrates all things, women of color, people of color, all of these authors who have been on banned book lists in the past, but teaching the significance of that. So not just their stories, but creating this bridge of continuation, so these voices and these histories are not forgotten, right? Because as much as history tries to erase us, we will always still be here. So that is the initiative that I am creating alongside Open Hearts founder Andrew Zaragoza. So please be on the lookout for that. Yeah, so I've been doing poetry for the last 2 months. So performing has been a really great joy. It's very hard for me to be vulnerable, actually, truth be told. I think the bearing of the soul, especially in a crowd and in a room full of strangers, can be very intimidating. But, I find that once you share something of yourself that people can resonate and connect with, you find that we're not really that different at all. So this piece that I have for you, I'm going to do something a little bit different today. So let's do, this piece is called Nobody is Responsible for Robbing Oxygen. And this is after the Monterey Park mass shooting. My porcelain doll complexion makes their appetite hungry for the appropriation of our culture. They sink their $1 million teeth into the fruits of our labor, only to compensate us with tokenism. But I can't bat an eye, because shouldn't we be grateful that our descendants left everything behind for $1 in their pocket and broken English? Every moment of microaggression singes when I see comfort in my Lola. She retorts, put salt on the wound and let a canister of Vicks Vapor Rub fix it. Though I forgive her. How could I translate my broken Tagalog? She too a victim to this prism of the system. I pour her another Nespresso coffee. She bites her tongue, but puts a match into the fire to burn me, saying, don't be too emotional. It is all in your head. I laugh in disbelief. Is your exhaustion felt in moments of silent thoughts and prayers just like everybody else? So I draw out a dialogue. If a colonizer places a blade on our throat, they'll call it a service, and us their memoir of a geisha. People are blinded by the mass swarm of deafening red, yellow, and blue sirens. Nothing is louder than these war cries. Though some will call this heroism, others will fight for a revolution. Magic blessed me and proved our skin is gold as fuck. Dipped in honey, dripping in sacrifice, oozing with impatience from the lack of accountability. Grenades are used for hands, and you cannot hold on to what will leave you lifeless. Blood is paint, plastered on posters and picket signs. Outcries become symphonies, synchronous with war cries. Divinely disastrous death, flooding reality, and everybody is drowning, and nobody's responsible for robbing oxygen. Bullet wounds are America's signature grave tombs. Bodies piled up, they could make mountains comprised of angels, unjustifiably looking down upon us. So why am I always angry? Why am I always guilt-ridden for being despair? You blink twice, and from 1 second to the next, you dissipate into the thinness of the atmosphere. An orphan child, a motherless woman turned aggravated activist, widowed husband sustaining their partner's story, and pain overdoses the body into constant shock. We beg to crawl out of our soul to find haven. The door home never opens again, sealed shut with miscalculated tragedy, and there are never enough increments of time that will sustain countless lives to be birthed again to fill this bottomless void. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Much for that piece. It was much different from what you usually do, but it was really deep and much needed. I really appreciate that. So this next poet is a mic dropper. I first saw her on Instagram and I followed her, and she was at a show at the Sims Library of Poetry, and she just commanded the whole, entire room with her poetry. It was just so deep and compelling. I really appreciate the poet that she is. Coming up to our mic is Pretty Black. Pretty Black, tell us about yourself, what you have going on in the poetry community, and then bless our mic.
Well, hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me good?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Nice to see all of you. I've enjoyed everything so far. Such a diverse group of people, and I get really excited for that. So thank you for this platform. And thank you for everyone who went before me already. And hello, Egyptian princess. It's really good seeing you again. I've known her for many years throughout the poetry scene. We've like at least 10 years. So it's good to see that she's still doing her thing and that I'm still got my foot in the game a little bit too. So about me, I am a spoken word artist and I'm also a hip hop recording artist and MC. I actually wrote my first poem when I was 10 years old. And from there on, I just kept, I've just always been enthralled with creative writing, poetry, and things of that. So I started performing spoken word poetry when I was 15 years old. And then I actually honed in on it in my early 20s. And that's when I really started taking off with that part aspect of my performance career in 2019. Well, actually, let me take it back. I've also been rapping since I was like 12 years old, but I never focused on that. I decided to focus on the spoken word, the poetry, the acting, the dances, which is what I'm really rooted in. I started out with dance before anything. But in 2019 is when I gave it my second go round for the rapping and the music and everything. And that's when I linked with my good friend and who's also my producer and a fellow artist by the name of Eugene O'Neill. And we just started working ever since. So I dropped my debut album in 2021 and it is titled Bantu Knots. It is spelled exactly like the hairstyle and it has very significant meaning behind it, and it's a very personal story and a very personal album. So if you guys get a chance, check that out on Spotify, Apple, Tidal, whatever streaming networks and platforms that you do have. Um, right now, I am currently working on of 3 projects, 2 EPs, and another feature length album. So follow me if you want to stay updated on any of that stuff. My poetry, my music. You can follow me at Pretty Black Official on Instagram, and it's spelled exactly like how you see it written right there, right below my video. So that's pretty much about me. I'll go ahead and give you a piece tonight. Um, some of you may have heard it. I know Egyptian Princess has heard it, but I'm pretty sure some of you guys have heard it. If you see me at the Sims Library, you heard this one, and it's entitled ABS. At birth, I was diagnosed with ABS, angry black woman syndrome. They said I came out of my mother's womb with one hand on my hip, snapping my fingers, rolling my neck and my eyes. They said the reason a black woman can't get a man and keep him is because we just too damn angry. Quite frankly, I'm tired of you plumbers coming to me with your pipe dreams, competing over me like I'm the next contract job, when quite frankly, I could care less which one of y'all fools got the biggest wrench because you won't be laying any pipe in these tenements. Oh, I'm sorry. That was angry, right? Okay, well, I apologize. I apologize that I'm too strong for you. I apologize that I can't sit around like some damsel in distress or a hoe waiting for my captain to come save me. I'm not what you made me. I stand on my own 2 feet now, so in the future I won't have to lay on my back for my babies. They call me a bitch. They say my bark is loud, but my bite will give you rabies. Maybe you're right. Or maybe you just don't know black women at all, because black women are not angry. We are beautiful. with eyes you can read like history books, skin that's been dipped in chocolate, hair that holds water like a levee, arms that will hug life into you, lips that will give you kisses sweeter than maple syrup, hands that will spank the hindside of your child, then turn around and use them to make a sweet potato pie, legs that have gone for miles, legs that have walked for miles, legs more powerful than the hind legs of a mighty stallion, and these hips, well, they all weren't meant to fit a size two. And we are okay with that because we know that God gave us these childbearing hips because He knew a body of any other stature would not be equipped to bear your man child. We birth warriors, Mandingo tribesmen, reversers of the curse. We light fires in our sons that will dim the light of the sun and illuminate the universe. Naturally, we birth bigger males. We speak with an authority in our voice that will shake the earth's core and tip Richter scales. And what you hear in our voice is not anger. Mm-mm. It's passion. And if you can't decipher between the two, then maybe you need to do some reevaluating of your own because Black, we're not angry, we are strong. See, when the world gives us too much, we turn it into never enough. We break barriers that Hurricane Katrina couldn't touch. So the next time someone tells me that I have ABS, I'm going to put one hand on my hip, snap my fingers, roll my neck and my eyes, look them in the face and tell them, thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for that piece. That's the one she did at the Sims, and Mike's was just dropped. Boop, boop, boop. Thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. AJ, do you have a question for the artists?
I gotta go. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Pretty Black. I don't have any questions. I just have to say, when I was at the Sam's, I was feeling like a little kid up in there watching you. And it's the same way. I'm just smiling. I'm not able to contain myself from your level of pride and confidence in being a Black woman.
I
And
really,
because,
really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm sorry. Keep going.
well, the woman that raised me, I love her dearly, and she did everything that she could in order to make sure that I had the life that I had as a child. And it's about that awareness and that pride in being proud of who you are and why you are and knowing why you are. So when I saw you come up just with that name, Pretty Black, with the Q at the end of it, I just said, I know she getting ready to tear this thing down. And I don't remember what happened to the mic after you left. I know somebody picked it up. It had to because the show had to go on. But the it was the level of confidence in your voice. And it's the same, I feel the same way. I'm shook up by how happy you are to be who you are. And it's magical. It's magical. I love that you have command of the language, and we birth bigger men. You know what I mean? Bigger males. That's what it was. We birth bigger males. And then what did you say after that? Can you repeat that line? We birth bigger males. And what'd you say after that?
I said, we birth bigger males. We speak with an authority in our voice that will shake the earth's core and tip Richter scales.
Nice, nice.
I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and mute my microphone. I ain't got nothing else to say after that. That's it. Pretty Black, you so cold blooded. Everybody is. Let me take the time to just say everybody is dynamic. 1024, the statement you had, you just been smiling the whole time, brother. You know what I mean? And it's an unusual emotion that we really don't see. A lot of us are under pressure. All of us have different struggles and different stories to tell where we might not carry a smile all the time. And you just been smiling and cheesing the whole time, And your story, the things that you've had to go through, which have been, unfortunate, but the resilience and the faith that you've had in yourself has allowed you to continue to survive despite all. And you still have a smile on your face. And Egyptian princess, all of the creation, I said, this is a certified, bona fide Egyptian princess right here. From learning Egyptian and Ramses is everything. Your art, I love it all. Tyler, my boyfriend, me and my boyfriend are doing it, my pussy. So your whole, again, it's another level of pride and being proud of what you have and knowing the value, the self-worth. And I'm humbled. First time I've seen Lourdes through the videos, because Lourdes be out there in the mix. If y'all know Lourdes, she be popping up there in the mic she ain't touching, because she's somewhere touching the mic in the mix, and there's going to be a reel on that. And normally she is doing something different. That's a different style that she delivered today, a different offering. It just shows more to your versatility. So it's been a pleasure seeing you for the first time. Brother Saint Ice, he's blessed and he's cold. You know what I mean? And you can see it on there. Because I was like, is that Elu? Elu grew a beard? How did Elu grow a beard? So you just sharp as a tack. You know what I mean? You can't do no wrong. We love Chef Lee opening up the doors, keeping the space open for all of us to express ourselves. It's humbling. It's humbling to be quiet and just listen, you know. And when you listen, you get so much more of an empowered energy from all of it. So it's just beautiful to absorb.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, AJ.
Thank you.
We're going to spin it back around, and we're going to go bring it back to St. Ice. St. Ice, bless our mic one more time.
Okay, this piece was inspired. I went to an event called Poet, and the Poet was on fire. I was like, oh my God. It was like going to a smorgasbord, and the dopest chef just broke out the dopest pots and pans, and no matter what you ate, it was messing you up. So I left inspired. And then I resurfaced over at the world stage. And it's family and it's fire and it's poetry. And I think I was at the tail end of some stuff that I was working out in my system. And so this piece is called Security. And I'll just share with this. Inside of my ebony chest pounds a fractured heart of flesh, riches concealed by polished steel, deadbolts, chains, barbed wire gates, security systems to protect the insecurity of my system. Not to mention the Rottweilers, the Pit Bulls, and the Doberman Pinschers. Sensitive alarms set to go off to ward off the thirsty threat of dangerous dames from trifling trespassers who have plans to pillage as they enter. I beseech you, sisters, wander not far from this warning. My welcome mat lies well beneath the entrance to my treasury. My door is equipped with a ring to disconnect and discourage placebo Polly and parachute Penny from acquiring the promise of a ring. Strategically and systematically disassembling my security system by playing with the sensitivity of my sensorium. Alas, tricks are for kids, and I am clearly a grown man who refuses to accept a juvenile disposition juxtaposed with the technicality of mentality that morbidly moves as one who's accustomed to tricking. Association brings about assimilation, so for my own health and wealth, I disassociate. I fall back because I cannot contemplate. Lord, help me, please. Experience has served me that every Sally, Susie, and Barbie doesn't deserve me. You see, it's too expensive to be impulsively impressed and maliciously misled by bogus beauties and counterfeit cuties out here cosplaying, costumed as honey dipped heroines, but they're actually needy, greedy, nefarious, inauthentic Nefertiti's. The buffoonery brought on by having been bamboozled and burglarized by the hits and the misses with crow quill kisses, the venomous, the venomous vixen's crafty curves that struck my nerves. Strike my nerves. You see, tired of being played like a hand of spades and being jacked by jokers pretending to be queens, exhausted with these hidden agenda heifers and heartbreak heathens feasting on kind human beings. You see, I don't want to be hurt by someone's daughter the way I've been hurt by someone's daughter. I am more inclined to liberate the lambs before the slaughter. In a sterling attempt to disguise my limp, I discover ministry and therapy on my world to recovery. Now lock and key for the right combination. My love tender reveals that I am beyond a rebound. I am into the rebuild, reconstructing and reconfiguring from this blueprint, laying mortar and bricks by brick, carving a new testament in this fresh cement, becoming the sweet, solid foundation of stable concrete. You see, I'd like to believe and desperately want to believe that I have healed beyond the pains and the stains and the scars and the blemishes of my experiences. My layered scab reminds me that my ordeal allows me to keep it real and possibly offer tender solace inside of my ebony chest. Pounds a hopeful heart of flesh, riches concealed by external polished steel. For the soothing, safe soulmate moving beyond my guarded gates, I relinquish the deadbolts and unshackle the chains. I bend the barbed wire gates and allow her as she bodies my bodyguard and my security systems to protect the insecurities of my system. You see, she is my security. That piece. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that piece.
You're welcome.
Saint Ice. Okay, we're taking the mic back to 1024. Bless our mic again.
Thank you. Thank you. It's 1024. You already know, man. First of all, I love everybody on here. Before I bless it, like, bro, like, y'all, I was cheesing because it was the only way to express how you were making me feel internally. I couldn't say nothing. I couldn't do nothing. And I'm so overwhelmed with everybody's gifts and their talents. I'm just like, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for being here. So, this song I'm about to share is off my new album as well. It's called Changes. Y'all, if y'all were at the event the other day, you heard it, but this is the acapella. It goes, nobody likes them, but you can't deny it. Life is gonna make you try. You cannot buy them, but all of them can be earned. Asking why when all of us here to learn. Been going through changes, oh. Said I've been going through changes, you know. Let's keep it literal. I'm talking about drama, a broken family, crazy baby mama, reports of domestic violence, sounds of the sirens, everybody lying, throwing rocks and hiding, court dates out the wazoo. No one blessed me when I choose. Want my sons and daughters to know that I choose them over everything. We gon' see some better days, heaven on earth with pearly gates. changes. Let me learn from my mistakes, and I'm choosing no conditions. Use both of your ears when you listen. The real you appears in the trenches. Are you the you that you intended? When you crying and the tears are consistent, you unsure if you can go the distance. Adapt like a chameleon. We gonna reach a trillion on islands like we Gilligan, dreaming like we kids again, living life with different tent, counting up these dividends, learning what persistence is, not worried about no censorship, exquisite with the penmanship like Edward with them scissors, bitch. Changes made me different. I swear them changes made me different. Yeah, nobody likes them, but you can't deny them. Life is gonna make you try. You cannot buy them, but all of them can be heard. Asking why, all of us here to learn. And going through changes, changes. Oh, said I've been going through changes, changes, you know. Uh, Said patience is a virtue. Fear can really hurt you. Life, it has a curfew. The hard times are worth it. Existence has a purpose. You only scratch the surface. Time goes in a circle, and patience is a virtue. And going through changes, changes. Oh, said I've been going through changes, changes. You know. Yeah, nobody likes them, but you can't deny them. Life is gonna make you try. You cannot buy them, but all of them can be heard. Asking why when all of us here to learn. And going through changes, changes. Oh, yeah. Said I've been going through changes, changes. You know. It's 10:24. You already know, yo.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for that song and those words, much needed. Thank you so much. Next up, to bless her mic again, is the Egyptian princess. The mic's on you.
Thank you so much. And thank you again for just this opportunity to be here with you. All of you. You're so beautiful and just inspiring. So thank you so much. If I may, I'm going to share two pieces because they're short. They're not too long. So just thank you. Slow dance. I want to slow dance with you to Donny Hathaway's A Song for You. I want to embrace your body, holding you tightly, giving you a promise that I feel your heart that longs for love the way I do. I want to shower you with sacred kisses on your third eye, cheeks, lips, neck, hands, expressing the magnificence of your affection, slowly taking moment by moment to let my body reach ecstasy from every slow touch, caress, embrace. I want my fingers to trace all over your face, learning your expressions, massaging your head, feeling every muscle in your arms, chest, and back. Slow dance with me, twirl me away, and bring me close, where my back leans against your chest as your arms hold me safely, gently drawing me closer. Slow dance with me, slow dance with me, slow dance with me, even in my dreams. Thank you. And this piece is dedicated, it's an ode to all men who need to be reminded you are loved, appreciated, respected, and honored. It's called Anchor. Let me anchor the deep lineage of your exhausted soul for 3,600 seconds. Let me love all your pain away. Let me place my hands on your face, shoulders, pray over your life, abundance of joy, prosperity, grand health, complete healing and restoration over your perforated heart, sealing it with 10 kisses on bare skin. Let me feed you, nourishing your vessel with your favorite comida. Let me tell jokes to listen to your laughter. Let me play a song for you to sing, seeing the light in your eyes sparkle, putting on a beat for us to raise our vibrations. Let me remind you who you are, magnificent creation, designed perfectly. You understand the world through your angel eyes, helping every fellow at crossroads, traveling to your higher calling, spiritually in tune through the ethers, hands designed to heal with every touch, arms to hold mountains of pain, yet meant to release them in far off countries, moving to freedom of complete peace. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that piece. Um, it's very important that we do uplift our men in a lot of things. I had several conversations with a lot of women about how we have so much support, right? But a lot of times the men don't have the support system like we do. When
Exactly.
Mother's Day come, no matter if you're a horrible mom, if you're mediocre, if you come around, sometimes you still get praised. You could be the
Mhm.
best dad ever. It's like, oh yeah, it was Father's Day yesterday. What we can give a man a rose sometimes and say how much we appreciate them and things like that. So just
Absolutely.
uplifting them and making them feel like you are important. We do need you, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we are the creators. We can't create a child by ourselves. It takes two. So we
Yes.
have to remember that and just spread the love all around. And this is what the artist connection is all about, spreading the love and coming together with this much needed poetry and our stories and things like that. And I appreciate you all for just being here and taking the time out your day just to be here with us and share your stories and your talents. Next up to our mic, we're going to go back and swing it around to Tyler. Tyler, bless our mic again.
Yes, and thanks again so much for being here. It's really brightened my Thursday evening for sure. But this piece I want to share. So I was asked to write in for an anthology, and the prompt was, "What would you do if you could change the world?" And one of the things I love to do in my art is I love to use pop culture lexicon to address real issues, because ultimately what we see in the movies reflects real life. So I wrote this piece called My Infinity Gauntlet, and it's inspired by the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Are we familiar with Marvel and all those 20 movies?
Yep.
Um, so this is what, yes, all right. So this is what I would do if I could change the world. I want to hold infinity in my hand, the universe in my grasp, the power of the jagged celestial stones, mine to command, mine to demand. And with infinity in my hand, with a simple snap and vision planned, I would remove power that has gone unchecked, create portals through space to bridge divides, design a reality where those who have been oppressed can live safely in pride. I would go back in time and reverse the genocide, the colonization that has cascaded through generations and destroyed lives. With infinity in my hand, I would mold minds, and empathy and love would outpour 3,000 times. I'd simply snap my fingers and design a realm without divide, without hate, where imperialism simply dissipates and all memories of superiority will be erased, without shame, without pain. But in my new world, supremacy will be tamed. With just a simple snap, humankind will be changed. I call that mercy. And once it's done, once destiny arrives, I will rest and watch the sunrise on a grateful universe. This is my vision, my infinity prize. But there are no gauntlets to wield magical stones, no simple snaps, no titans to force the world to atone, no quantum realm to go back into time, no eternals waiting to save mankind. There is only us to avenge in this game of injustice that seems to never end.
Mhm.
We must change our reality, use our power to shape space and time. We must be the ones to change minds. We are burdened with glorious purpose to assemble and be the heroes we so desperately need. So I plead that you use your power, your privilege, your prestige, whatever it may be, for the fate of all people. Some you may never meet or see, because hate is inevitable, pain is inevitable. But on your left are humans just like you. And if we don't come together soon, our demise is inevitable. Thank you so much. Thanks again for
Thank
having
you
me.
so much for that beautiful piece. Much, much needed. Coming back up to our mic is Lourdes. Lourdes, bless our mic again.
Again, thank you everyone for sharing your stories. It's really been a pleasure hearing all of you and hearing your work. So thank you so much again. This piece that I have for you is titled "Before We're Extraordinary, We're Strangers." Boy, I'm in love with you. This ain't the honeymoon. We're past the infatuation phase. We're right in the thick of love. At times we get sick of love. It seems like we argue every day. I know I misbehaved and you made your mistakes. We both still have room left to grow. And though love sometimes hurts, I'll still put you first if we make this thing work. But I think we should take it slow. My favorite color, yellow, is the embodiment of radiance, warmth, and uplifting impact for the spirit. Though I wish to blend my chosen hue together to complement your burnt orange familiarity, I will swim through the exploration of your eclipse. The epic feel of evening you emote is a reach into an eternal, solely you and I know, surpassing our limitless sky. Your smile and embrace equating the furthest possible feeling opposite of loneliness. The placement of your palms brushing against the rosiness of my cheeks, supple enough. I believe it grants me permission to seize my rigid edges, formed to protect myself from any touch foreign to this body. Will you end the estrangement and become the only home I welcome effortlessly like breathing? It's funny because as a child, I moved around 12 times, so that to me is irony. I begin to wonder why I have been filling my lungs with anything but your exhale. Every utterance of each other's names is a call back to God. Our unity poses holy, fit to reaffirm any pledge of faith and higher power. It even has atheists say, Jesus, y'all are something. Even I go on my knees in gratitude during prayer I've not practiced in decades to thank the stars for your burst into my world. I open up to not just to anybody. I listened to Etta James for years, hearing the needle scratch the vinyl, a window sit collect dust. Who knew and could have predicted what I was waking up to? And to your face, a Sunday kind of love. I wish for you to write chapters alongside me about a shared life so others can believe it's possible and tangible. Because it feels too unreal, I must be dreaming. Then I want all the readers to recite it like scripture or an unorthodox fairy tale, nearly scandalous, that a magic like yours binds me in a spell. Maybe we should call it magic, a happy with no ending. You whispered to me over dinner at that one restaurant with the terrible service where you and I stayed well past closing simply to spite them. All our friends would never find us because sometimes people are in your corner, but others are only looking to be about your business. We distinguish this over a few hundred laughs in between our secrets shared. That's the beauty of biting into forbidden fruit. Its sweetness is that much more insatiable because it's nearly too damn good. You and I are decadently sinful. I'll bet myself and have faith regardless. Maybe it's destined in the cards we never saw coming. I'll reveal my hand and call you my king, so I'll be the queen of your only heart. Who is to say or place a definition upon it, as we all know that a four-letter word transcribes itself into a multi-applicable description, translating to that French saying you're passionate about to describe our communion. You and I are love at first sight, a century that lasts a second. Thank you.
That was so beautiful, Lourdes. Thank you so much for singing. You gave us some tunes. Okay. Next up to bless our mic again is Pretty Black. Pretty Black, the mic's on you.
You ladies did all these beautiful love poems. I need to sharpen up my skills on a love poem. Egyptian, no, she know. I always say I'm terrible with love poems. I don't know why, but I'm gonna push my pen this year and get out a few love poems and see where we can go. But tonight we're gonna do some more black shit, okay? Some more black power shit. So this poem is called Black Birds. I haven't did this one in a while. I never knew that black birds didn't have wings. Just as well as I never knew that black boys didn't have futures. You see, I never understood how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. Just as well as I don't know how much more black blood will be spilled before we get to the center of this epidemic. All I know is that these black birds don't have wings. They were clipped at birth. See, we can't raise sons because we too busy raising soldiers. You wake up to Folgers. We wake up to gunshots and sirens and the weight of the world on our shoulders. You sit back and you sip your $8 cup of latte and you read about us in the newspapers. We live in it. You send your children off to Ivy League colleges while our black birds are limited. And it's such a shame that white privileged America will never understand the plight of these black birds that can't take flight, knowing the closest they ever come to fly is a fresh pair of Jordans. And we are in a war, and it ain't overseas, it's over J's, and they killing for them. See, you take sun baths and you bathe in rose petals and chrysanthemums while we watch our black birds take blood baths. And the closest they come to flowers is at funerals when they can't even smell them. And to you, these black birds are nothing but felons, and their future always was this. But I'ma serve their sentences through these sentences while my lips bleed poetic justice. And it's like, these black birds are in some kind of deadly contest because for us by us does not mean we must kill us. So I guess FUBU got taken out of context. These black birds lie nestled in projects, killing each other for a slice of the American pie, and they ain't even get a crumb yet. Meanwhile, you send your children off to learning institutions to pose for their school photos while our black birds are posing for mugshots. Buckshot riddled bodies, shell casings become treasures, and caskets become futures. These black birds are an endangered species, and to America, they have already become extinct. To America, these black birds are nothing but symbolisms of death and destruction with broken wings and silenced beaks. But to me, these black birds are more beautiful and magical than a red-tailed African Congo with feathers that spread wide and proud like a peacock. And in actuality, they always had wings. They just didn't know how to use them.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for that piece. Pretty Black. We got to book you. So, I have a challenge before we end the show. So, our topic is always what's your story? So, we're going to go back around and I want you guys to do a haiku about what's your story in a haiku. And we're going to start with 1024.
I knew you was gonna do that. Hey, look, I ain't the poet. I don't know what. Look, I know haiku got rules. I got rules I gotta follow. It's supposed to be a few lines, keep it short and simple. I don't know the exact formats of what a haiku is.
I'm sure you'll do great. Bring it.
Huh?
I said, I'm sure you'll do great.
All right, well, let's rock it then. 10/24, 1989. A star was born. I didn't know him very well until 2023, June. Here.
Cancers. Okay, up next we go take it to Lourdes. Haiku, what's your story?
Perfect timing. All right, my haiku. I am a woman, power, feminine, all love, a walking history.
Yes.
That's my haiku.
Yes, we're gonna spin it back around. Egyptian princess, haiku, what's your story?
Yeah, that's definitely not one of my better expertise. I can't say that. Um, let's see. I'm just gonna simplify who I am more than really put it in a haiku because I'd be butchering the actual method. So no. I would say Egyptian princess 8, compassionate, loving, peaceful, harmony, seeker. Harmony, seeker. Yeah. And I'd leave it at that.
Okay, thank you. Saint Isis on you.
Cool. Okay. I was working on something. I don't know if it's a haiku, but it's gonna have to work. They say that I'm cooler than a penguin in a black tuxedo, and I chill harder than Chester Cheetah chewing on some fresh Cheetos. If I were a superhero, they would call me Sub-Zero. I'm really all about love, so I'm always trying to find cool amigos. Say nice.
Pretty Black, haiku, what's your story?
If black was beautiful, she would be a warrior like me.
Yes, okay. Tyler, haiku, what's your story?
Ooh, on the spot writing. That is not my expertise, but I will do my best. This is I would say something like, there I was lingering between doubt and fear, tinkering between change and stability, but I decided not to choose. Instead, I took both in my hands and said, let's go find adventure.
AJ, haiku, what's your story?
I gotta go through a mission to unmute all this stuff going on. Uh, my haiku is it's time for us to go. Artist connection.
No.
122. The show was through. Linda LaRose snaps. She done already snapped it.
Haiku, the artist connections brings the community that feeds the people. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. You guys were so amazing. Everybody was so beautiful. I had an incredible time. Artists, please don't log off yet till after the credits roll. Then we have a conversation after. You guys were so dope. Again, I want to invite you out to our jazz festival in June 28th, my birthday party and book release. We're going to have a great time. If you guys don't know, I'm also a chef. So I'm going to be chefing it up at my party. I'm going to have another chef, but I just can't give all creative control away, you know.
I know that's right. It's your party.
Yeah. So we're gonna have poetry, music, art, Los Angeles Poets Society is one of the dopest platforms I've been a part of. Juan is going to be performing with his band. I know Jessica's going to be there. Um, Also, in connection with Community Literature Initiative, which I am an alumni of. So Hiram Sims and Cole Peace will be hosting the event. Um, Linda LaRose, I hope you can be there. So we're gonna have so many great dope poets. St. Ice is gonna be there. Hopefully he's gonna paint some pictures and everything to his music. AJ's gonna bring you didn't guys didn't get to hear AJ tonight, but June 28th, he gonna rock the house. So just make sure you guys subscribe and follow. You guys are always welcome to come back on the show. And we're gonna end it here. Any closing words, AJ?
Just wanted to say that it's been an honor and a pleasure to hear everyone. It's more important for me to hear in order for me when it comes to writing and speaking and everything. I'm more to the back when it comes to it. When it's time for me to show up and get on the mic, I wreck shop. But under this circumstance, guest hosting and being a part of this, I'm just formally being introduced to everybody. And it's more important in the patience and in the silence of deferring so that you can hear the expression and the voices and get used to it. Because if we're connecting as artists, we connect in the community together. And that's the reason behind me just falling back and enjoying the listening. And I'm so glad that I did. I was able to listen to everyone twice, you know, and Chef should have been doing a piece. You know, you always got to do Chef. I mean, how much love do we have for Chef though? Right? She don't do enough. You do so much, you still don't do enough in terms of being able to pump and produce and promote yourself. You coming to everybody's events, you coming to show up, you first in the row, standing up, clapping for everybody, cooking for everybody. So it's a responsibility, a fiduciary responsibility, as my mother would say, to uphold her because she's a pillar in the community, you know, and because she's all over the city in support and engagement. You know, no, she didn't pay me to do this. This is free. You know, this is love for free right here. So this she's just I honor you and I thank you for creating the space and showing up to everybody's events, despite whether it's not reciprocated or not. Your heart is so open as Lord has got the open heart flavor, the spoken word, your heart is open and you out there and Linda LaRose, you know, lots of love. That's what it is. And that's it. That's it. That's the last word.
Thank you so
The
much for
chef, the poet, and the pillar.
that.
That's right, Fitz.